I'm going to show you now how I would normally do a 2 to 5 minute quick health check on a company I know nothing about, never worked with before or haven't for a long time, but this is how I very quickly figure out where these people are up to, if they're using JGID to its full potential, and if there's any improvements in terms of their workflow or general business management that could be done. Because often, if they're not using the software right, there is going to be some mismanagement in the company as well. So utilizing the software is not just like being able to play a video game good, it is actually directly related to how closely or how tightly you manage your company. First thing I would do is click here on the bell symbol, and that just tells me any activity that has happened lately. So if this last activity has been a few minutes ago and I can see that there's been a lot of activity in the last few hours, that tells me that the company is utilizing the software quite intently. If there are big gaps in between these times here, I might assume that it might be a owner-operator who might spend a couple of days on the tools and then do some admin work in the office every other day or so. From there, I will take a glance at their dashboard. This very quickly gives me an indication of volume in transactions. Obviously 45 new inquiries, 54 quotes, 45 jobs just from existing clients, and then a variety of smaller activities here by other lead sources tells me that they are tracking lead sources quite carefully and that there is actually quite a lot of activity. So I'd expect to see a decent amount of revenue from this company. Now going onto the dashboard over here, just quickly looking at the whole pipeline, looking at one inquiry, one opportunity. What I would typically do is check the date on these inquiries. Okay, this is today's date right now, which means they're onto it. If I see dates which are older than 24 hours, let's say that was yesterday or worst case scenario several days ago, I would assume that they are not following up on their leads or that they've got clients waiting for callbacks. With the opportunities, that would be how many site visits they've got lined up. I think seeing one opportunity compared to so many draft quotes and other numbers here seems to me out of balance, but who knows, they might just be really fast at turning them around. With 68 quotes, by the way, I am in a demo account, so it's to be expected that this looks like a bit of a dog's breakfast in terms of business management because it's not real life data being maintained all the time. That would seem like a reasonably high number of quotes to be in draft. I don't think you'd have that many estimators working on quotes all the time, unless you actually do have a really big workforce in that department. A low number of pending quotes would tell me these people are actually following up, so that would be a very good indication. And then as we move on here, I guess this is where I would panic. If I saw 123 current jobs for a workforce of whatever I would see here on the calendar. So normally I would say, okay, let's have a look. How many workers are in the week schedule? Okay, so these guys actually got no one working this week, so I'd be very worried. This would be a bit more of a real week, so if we just did a quick glance and said, okay, that might be about 15 technicians. If 2 of them work together at any one time, let's say you could have maybe about 8 jobs open. Even if you had some loose ends hanging around on a number of, let's say, 15, 16 technicians, I wouldn't want to see more than maybe 10 jobs in current. So if these guys got 123 current jobs, they're totally not closing off their jobs. On the invoices here, I highly recommend, just like with the inquiries, to have a policy that you shouldn't have draft invoices there for more than 24 hours. There's not really any reason why they should be. Ideally, you should really invoice a job as soon as you finish it, even if you can on the same day, because you have delivered a good service, and if you get your invoices in quick, your clients will be more inclined to pay you quicker as well. We see it a lot, people not invoicing for a week or 2 after the job and then suddenly hassling the client a week after they send the invoice, and the client just naturally reacts and says, well, you obviously weren't in a hurry to send me the invoice. If you needed the money badly, you would have sent it earlier. So everyone always needs money badly, so just send your invoices quicker is sort of my approach on this thing. And then if you want to go into more detail, you could look here on tasks, if people are actually managing their tasks, completing them in time. Like Here I've got a lot of overdue tasks, and the same with equipment, qualifications, etc. Ideally there shouldn't be too many of these overdue. Now let's jump into a real life client. I did get permission to share their interface, provided we keep all the other information confidential, so bear with me one sec. So this is a real life dashboard. We can see straight away here, just looking at the inquiries, that they have quite a lot of recurring work from existing clients. The online is performing not too bad, and they are getting quite some referrals, and they're even getting some leads from staff members. And here they've got a couple which haven't been allocated. But overall, good tracking, online is working, referrals are working, and the recurring business from existing clients is working. So that's a really good, healthy sort of spread of leads. I can see that they have only one inquiry outstanding. I know this particular client is very prompt in returning the inquiries. I won't bother checking the date. 6 opportunities. These are obviously site visits they've got lined up. That is a good number. And I can see they've got 0 draft quotes right now, so probably the estimator must have just gotten on top of things, or is about to do another round of site visits, which then will turn into quotes. 676 pending quotes tells me they've either been using the system for a long time, or they're not following up as much as they could. In this case, again, I know they've just been using it for a long time. Looking at the jobs here, they have 7 current jobs, so based on the number of technicians they have, I know this is a healthy number, so they're obviously closing the jobs out quickly once they're being completed. 3 pending jobs means their operations manager is actually managing the pending status so that he can focus on what still needs to be prepared, and this would be all their upcoming recurring jobs in preparation, which if you wanted to get a date range, obviously you would go to the jobs and narrow that down by the upcoming month. 1 draft invoice, I guess that is acceptable, in particular if you see that they have 13 invoiced and 12 overdue, so that this seems to be quite a prompt movement from invoices to being invoiced, and I guess they're reasonably good at following up and getting paid on time as well, because their overdue is less than what they've invoiced for. And I have a lot of clients who have more overdue invoices than what they've invoiced in their last 14 days. There we go, so that would be a real life quick health check on a dashboard, and what we'd kind of be looking for, or what we, I guess, don't want to see. The first example was how not to. The second one is a very good example. If you feel that you need help to get your dashboard tidied up, feel free to reach out to us. We'll schedule a call with you. We're happy to give you a free remote consultation, make a bit of an action plan on what should happen. And if you think you need help just in terms of managing, checking timesheets and things like that, preparing your done in full on time reports, these are all services we actually now offer for you as well with our MyPA. It's a new service we have where you can engage a highly qualified and trained JGID account manager for you. We focus purely on tasks related to JGID. We do things like daily checking of your timesheets, following up with your workforce if they need to give us more information to do the timesheet for the previous day. We will lock the timesheet so no one can modify anything, report any discrepancies to you. While we're at it, if you have jobs already open and you need help structuring them, we can help you build all your composed items. We go all the way to even, so the premium service will even include checking your supplier invoices compared to the purchase orders that you've issued, matching them up, and then if they match, they can be approved, or you can match it up yourself, send us the invoices as being approved. We will enter them into JGID for you so you've got accurate cost tracking against the job, and we can even then also enter them into Xero for you, into the relevant status. You can either go straight into awaiting payment, you can still go into awaiting approval again. We found a lot of our sort of owner operators, what they like to do is they get an invoice from a supplier emailed, have a look at it, forward it on to MyPA. MyPA handles it from there, puts it into JGID, and then also puts it into Xero, but then in Xero goes into awaiting approval once more. so that another CFO can actually go through and just double check all the bills in Xero before processing them. We found we're having really high success rates with our MyPA. The customers are loving it because it's one of those things, like checking timesheets daily sounds great in a perfect world, but then to get operations managers and estimators or owner operators to do that, in reality it just doesn't happen. So then it becomes like a end of the week task where then you might find that some of the timesheets don't actually match what you invoiced for, and so you're always sort of a little bit behind the 8 ball. We can offer that service from as little as 15 minutes a day, which again is a huge advantage in terms of cost factor, because hiring admin staff, usually you need to hire them for at least 2 to 3 hours or 4 hours minimum, and that then suddenly becomes quite a cost, and often you don't even have that much work for them to do. The typical MyPA client in our scenario would be anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes a day usage. That includes checking all your timesheets, locking the timesheets, updating the daily labour summaries, adding expenses, like the full service from A to Z. And that, I guess, 45 minutes will be for a workforce of maybe 30 people. So if you had less than 10 people, I think 15 minutes will definitely do it. And we have really highly competitive rates as well, so you're essentially getting a bookkeeper service, but you're not paying full bookkeeper rates. Yeah, so the MyPA is a sensational service that we've come up with. Our customers have all been raving about it. It's highly cost effective, and if you want to find out more about it, give us a call, visit our website. We'll happily do a free scoping session with you to find out what would be the best package for you, and then put you on a trial and see how we can make it work best for you.